What's happening, everybody? We are live a lot earlier than usual, and for good reason, because we have our good pal Arnold from the Office Funko Pops from Instagram. How you doing, Arnold?
Fantastic, guys. I'm so happy to be here.
We're glad to have you, man, and we're glad to hear your story. There's a lot of people in the comment section right now talking about Office Funko Pops. The number one question I saw pop up was, is there any way you can get them to stop making so many Dwights? I thought that was kind of funny.
I wish.
So, Arnold, let's dive right into your story. Have you been like an Office Funko? An Office fan since the very beginning?
I wish I could say that I was. It's kind of crazy, actually. A few years ago, and by that I mean like well over 10 years ago, I used to live in Pennsylvania. Actually, I used to live in Allentown. Now I live in sunny Miami, Florida. But I used to live in Allentown, which is probably about an hour away from Scranton. And never once, I hadn't watched the show. I was always really busy and doing things. I never watched a lot of TV, and never watched the show. Never once, obviously, made a trip to Scranton. Never cared to. Didn't even know. Hold on.
Oh, that's okay.
You guys there?
Yeah,
Sorry,
we're here.
sorry.
Yep. There you are. You're back.
So then I went ahead and when I got remarried, my current wife now, she's amazing. She's the one who actually got me into watching The Office about 4 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago now, and right at the beginning of our marriage, and it clicked with me. It really I just love it, you know. So I just went nuts with it. And when I saw that it was in Scranton, which obviously I know the whole show wasn't filmed there, I just know they took references from it, you know, but man, it just broke my heart that I never went to Scranton, even though I was right there. So it was really killing me.
Well, that's interesting. I figured you were going to tell me, yes, I've been a fan since day one. But yeah, I mean, I'm similar.
I wish.
I'm similar to you. I found it later on in life. I ended up finding it when it hit Netflix finally. And when it hit Netflix,
okay.
I started binging it then, and I became a big fan. And it's funny because I became this big fan of The Office, and I tried to talk Heather into watching it. And Heather never really seemed too interested. And then one day, she's like, you know what? I want to do an Office podcast. I'm like, what? Where'd that even come from? This makes no sense. So now she's, dead in the middle of making an Office podcast, and which is how we kind of connected with you.
Yes.
And then Heather, one day I'm at work, and Heather explains that she's talking to somebody on Instagram, and he is the quote unquote reason for Office Funko Pops. And I'll be honest with you, Arnold, in that moment, my head exploded because I couldn't believe that she was going to tell me it was like another person separate from the folks at Funko. I figured those folks would kind of come together with this idea and make it happen. But somehow Arnold from Allentown, Pennsylvania, is the reason why we have Office Funko Pops. Can you explain to me how this even happens?
All right. It's Miami, Florida. Born and raised. I just lived there for a little bit and I came back. But what
Okay, so from Miami, Florida. My bad.
305. All right. So what really happened is it's a really wild story, and I'll get to that, Chris. What really happened is, I love Funko Pops, and at that time I just started falling in love with The Office, and so I started watching the show and just loving the moments, and I was like, oh, there has to be a million Funko Pops by now. I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be impossible to get them, you know. So
Sure.
I was like, let me look up The Office Funko Pops so I can start getting them, and they just didn't exist. And I was like, how is this possible that the most watched show on Netflix, I don't even know if it's just in history in general, because it's like billions of minutes I know it's the most streamed show ever. So it's just such a popular show. How
Sure.
is it possible they just don't have Funko Pops? So I said to myself, I have to do something about it. So just one day messing around, I got on the computer and I made some mock-ups, you know, and
Well,
I
hold
put
on.
them on Reddit.
Let me stop you there for a second. You made mock-ups
Sure.
of the actual Funko Pops?
Yeah, I made mock-ups of Funko Pop. So if you go down to my history on Instagram, the Office Funko Pops on Instagram, if you swipe all the way down to the very first post, you'll see that was January 1st, and it was a Dwight one, and then a Michael Scott, and all those. Those are all well before Funko Pops of The Office were a thing. But then we're even at that point, we're still getting ahead of ourselves because, like I said, that was the Instagram started about a year and a half, maybe 2 years after I started like posting pictures of those on like Reddit, and just it got a lot of people liked it and stuff like that, and whatever. So then it just kind of blew up from there. So one day, my wife was telling me, she goes, "Oh, you need to." It was literally January 30. I'm sorry, December 31st. She goes, "You need to do a New Year's resolution," and I go, "All right, I'll think about it." And then, of course, January 1st, the next day, she's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I was like, "I know, I'm gonna make Funko make the Office Funko Pops." Even though I've been messaging them and everything else.
Wow.
So she's
Okay.
like,
That's
yeah.
a very interesting like that. This is my plan for the new year. I want Office
It,
Funko Pops to be made. I mean, that's literally like saying, next year I want to win $1 million.
well, it was really more like either go to the gym. I don't feel like doing that. I play ice hockey. I'm good. You know, I'm happy with my dad bod. I'm not going anywhere. So I'm fine. She's married legally. She can't leave. I'm good. You know.
She's
So I was
hostage.
like, my biggest thing was I just didn't. I wanted to avoid that. I don't know if that's just she was aiming for me to go somewhere, but I was like, So that was my thing, and I just did it sarcastically. And so I started the Office Funko Pops account on Instagram, and started just putting things up and just trying to do what I could. And I was always in contact, harassing via email, Funko and all that stuff, and then via DMs. And finally, they told me, they said, "Listen, if you can get 10,000 followers," at that time I had like 40, we'll see what we can do. Was the wording.
Wow.
And then shortly after that, like I want to say maybe a week or so, I posted a picture of Kate Flannery, which is Meredith, with a concept one of her with a bald head. I love that moment. I know. I'm sorry. I don't want to spoil it for Heather, but
You're okay.
I know she's not. I know you're not there yet. But there's a
January
moment where
5th, 2019, you posted that.
What's that? What's that?
January 5th, 2019.
Oh, okay. So that was 5 days into having the Instagram, right? January 1st was the first one. I think Dwight was my very first post, and
Yep.
and I think I at that time I got like 40 likes, and I was like, yes! Oh my god! I don't know how many it has now, but it was like amazing. I got like 40 likes. I was the happiest guy in the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was just, again, all of this is just for fun. I think when you do something that you love, and you put your love into it, yeah, everything will come out right. And it really genuinely has. It's just been just a crazy, wild ride for the last couple of years. So
hold
I
on.
guess,
So it's really interesting. So one, you're mocking up artwork for the. So did you do a lot of like designing kind of stuff before all of this?
yeah. No,
Okay.
yeah, I still do. That's primarily what I do for a living.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just Photoshop and stuff like that. And so that's what I did. And then I started posting them, and people started liking them. And like Heather said, I guess it was January 5th. I thought it was like 10 days later. So it was 5 days later. I posted that. And then like a day later, or maybe a day or two later, Kate Flannery saw it, and she reposted it on her Instagram.
Holy crap.
And yeah, that was insane. So then I went from, I want to say at that time, maybe like 100, 120 followers, to all of a sudden it was like 8,000, 9,000. It was climbing by the minute. It felt
Oh my
like. And I was like,
God.
oh my God, what in the world just happened? And I'd be honest, I suck at social media. I am terrible. The fact that I have that many followers to me blows my mind, because I'm just not good at it. I've never been a social media butterfly, and oh my God, let's take a picture of my food. I'm not good at that, So to me, it was just like, honestly, just a sarcastic thing to do to avoid going to the gym and keep my dad bod, So for me, it was just funny. And then again, Kate Flannery posted that, and it just took off from there, because I hit 10,000 like the very next day, and then and all of them real followers. That's the biggest thing. Is I've never once done any of those fake things and follow me this. It's always been like real followers. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, they have 100,000 followers, 1 million followers, and then they don't have as many likes or comments or
Right.
whatever interactions. Like my followers, I genuinely feel that they're real and they're great people because I get so many DMs and messages, and I try my very best to keep up with them. And I do I genuinely go through everybody's DMs, and I always write something back, and it takes me a while sometimes. But I do my best to really do that because I just feel like The Office is love, man. It's all about love and helping each other out and just keeping things cool,
Absolutely. Well, so let's rewind for a second. So you contact FUNKO, and now how relentless are you when you're contacting them about this idea? Are we talking like you're contacting them daily, or are you contacting them weekly? Like what's going on?
A few years before I started the Instagram, I had sent them emails and DMs and stuff like that. And literally nothing, just ghost town. And then after I started doing I'd have to look at like for the old email. I think it was an email that I had received was about hey, I just started the Instagram and I put some pictures up, just letting you know, what do you guys think? Hopefully, whatever. That kind of went quiet for a minute. And then like the second day of having Instagram, I thought was pretty quick. And I was very happy about it. I think that was probably January 2nd or 3rd, is when they asked me, I was like, what do I have to do? I said, like, what do I have to do for you guys to consider making Office Funko Pops? And that's when the guy was like, you get 10,000 and we'll see what we can do. We'll make it happen, whatever. And I was like, okay, So at that point, 2 days later, is when Kate Flannery, I feel like she just came. She's an angel. She really is, and genuinely in real life. I know on the show she's a hot mess, but she's awesome in real life. And she just came in and just made it happen. And then, I'll never forget, because that day she not only reposted it, but she followed me. So I took a screenshot like, Kate Flannery is following you. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. Screenshot.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, it felt like, super cool, So then
you made it.
Yeah. Hey, mama, I made it, So I was excited. And then from there, the second I hit 10,000 and one person, I was already sending them back. Hey, we did it, And then I don't know if they were skeptical, I guess, at first, if maybe I had just bought 10,000 followers, because to get 10,000 followers in like 10, 12 days or however long it took me is very sketch,
Sure, absolutely.
Really yeah. And then I sent them a link to Kate Flannery reposting it. And that's when I guess they took it serious. They're like, oh, wait a second. This actually did genuinely happen, And then shortly after that, I guess they actually invited Kate Flannery over to Washington, to Seattle, to their headquarters. And she went there. She actually,
wow.
Before I even had the Michael Scott and the original, first series of the Funko Pops out in my hands, there's a picture of Kate Flannery with one at the headquarters, So
wow.
That was really cool that, I guess they invited her, or she invited herself. I don't know how that works, to do that, And then they asked me about my designs, and I was like, listen, I told them, I don't want any money. I don't want any, if you want to send me free stuff, you can, but I don't want any money. Just like, if you want to use the designs, use them. If you don't, that's fine too, So if you look at my original ones and the Funko Pops that subsequently came afterwards, a lot of them are very, very similar.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
Close,
yeah.
And then, and I don't have a problem with that at all. Like I said, again, that was amazing. And I was just super happy to get those out there. I just never expected it from there just to snowball into the craziness that has, ensued since then.
I'm surprised. You didn't want any money from it. I figure maybe Funko would try to hire you or something. I mean, because you're right. By looking at all these pictures, I'm looking at the Creed one that's bloody. I mean, now we're actually getting this Funko Pop, right? So we recently got the news that they're going to be dropping this. Did they offer any, did they have they since then offered anything? Have they sent you anything for free or anything?
I have gotten some things for free. They sent me a few, quite a few things for free and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's okay, But I guess my thing is they have their own designers. I guess my thing was more. The thing is this, right? So if you design because you're a designer, and then your boss tells you, "Hey, I need 10 mock-ups of The Office Funko Pops," and it just happens to be that you don't watch The Office, right? You're gonna watch it, try to get some ideas and whatever, and then just trying to just come up with something that may or may not suck. Like we've all seen Funko Pops that you're like, "Oh, why'd they make that guy?"
Right.
Or like that's the dumbest moment. Why would they take that moment to do it?
Right.
There's so many better moments to have done something of. So in my mind, I think maybe they were just appreciative of that. I don't know, or maybe they were huge fans. I don't know the exact thing. I'd be just lying, so I just want to kind of guesstimate what happened, But they have their own designers and they have their own people, and I think obviously whatever they finally came up with, obviously they tweaked. Some of my designs are very on the money. Some of them are very close, but they tweak it and make it their own the right way, and I'm happy that it's just done, So
Well,
I'm just happy that way.
by looking at your Instagram, I mean, this whole thing has completely changed your life. By the way, you've really kicked major ass to not have to go to the gym, by the way. I just want to let you know that. That's incredible. But as an example, behind you, I'm sure everybody can see it, you have the Suck It hoodie up there.
Yes.
So you were able to meet some of the people from the office. So how does something like that occur?
Well, so then that's kind of like a little bit more into the future, right? So then after the Office Funko Pops, start coming out, I never got into selling the Office Funko Pops or becoming a dealer. People kept asking me, so I linked up with a couple, actually with a couple really good that I felt that were, reputable stores. And they were great, they were really good. So I always just pushed my business over to them, and they always just sent me free pops, and then I would just take those free pops and do giveaways, So realistically, I used to just pay shipping out of my pocket, it wasn't
Sure.
a huge deal.
Yeah.
Or I have them do direct shipping right to them. So like, hey, what do you give me for free? All right, 2 of these. All right, I'll put those up, and you just direct ship them, and I don't have to pay for it.
Wow.
So it was just a learning process, and the giveaways and teaming up with different stores and all that. It really just helped me get to where I was. But as far as David Wallace and all the crazy experiences that I've had, and they just genuinely are, all of those just after, it's really happened just all after the pandemic hit. When the pandemic started last year, right around this time last year, obviously the economy took a dive for a lot of people, myself included. And I found myself like, what am I going to do? I'm just, I had nothing else to do. So,
Sure. Yeah.
One of my friends, he also, he has a company that he does autographs and stuff like that. And so he started doing autographs at that time it was with Brian Baumgartner. So he's like, hey, we have Brian Baumgartner's going to autograph some Funko Pops and stuff like that. And if you want to get in on that, I was like, okay, cool. So I kind of put some up for sale. I wanted to keep, if you look at everything I have online, I try to keep everything very reasonable. Especially like if you look at eBay, prices are insane, so I always try to keep everything very fair and really fairly priced, for everyone. But no, so you go and we I went with and got this signing done, and everyone super loved it. It was really, really popular, and I was like, you know what, let me do that again. And then my first major signing that I went to Los Angeles for was actually with Angela Kinsey, which normally doesn't do like Comic-Cons too often. She might do one a year, if that. And obviously because of the pandemic, she was doing zero. Everyone was doing zero at that time.
Right.
So through Instagram, her and I we were talking back and forth. She is amazing. She has an amazing podcast as well, as I'm sure you know, the Office Ladies podcast. But she is just a doll. Like in real life, she is just heavenly. And thankfully, she agreed to do an autograph signing with me. So I invited my friend who he brought me into Brian Baumgartner. I brought him into that one, and we did together. So you help me, I help you, type of thing.
Sure.
So it went really well. And I was like, well, I'm going to Los Angeles anyways. And I had, through Instagram, I had already become friends with a bunch of cast members. So I was like, let me meet up with as many of them as I can, and do some autograph signings with as many of them as I can. So I did an autograph signing with Hide, which is from The Warehouse, Hidetoshi Miura, which is he's awesome.
Cool.
He's actually my daughter's godfather. Now, so this is, I'm telling you, things just get crazy.
Wow.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. She was born during the pandemic. She was born in May. And then Kim Ferry, which is another great friend of mine, she was actually the main hairdresser for the show. She's the godmother of my daughter.
Wow.
My one only daughter. Yeah. So it's through that it just became insane. Just from friendships, and we started doing lives together, and so again, pandemic hit. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of I'm trying to piece it all together so it's like a timeline, but it is kind of a lot,
It is a lot.
So when I went to Los Angeles, I want to say that was June of last year. I did a signing with Hide. I did a signing with Andy Buckley, aka David Wallace, aka Daddy Wallace, as a lot of people like to call him. Every time I post a picture, there's at least 10 Daddy Wallace's comments. Everyone thinks he's super hot, And the guy, let me tell you, one of the biggest things that just scares me about meeting people, right? Famous people, is just that I don't want to break the magic of what I have on the screen, right?
Absolutely.
So like for me, it's just I have this character in mind, and like if I met XYZ person and they're bleep that out and an asshole, whatever, but if they're really mean, it would I wouldn't want to watch that anymore. I'd be like, that guy's super mean in real life.
Yeah.
It would break my heart. But everyone I've met has just been so amazing, and just like it really showed me what a great actress Angela is, because she is such a
Yes,
yeah,
she
absolutely.
is.
Yeah.
If I can say it, but on the show, she's so mean. And then like in real life, she's amazing. So I'm like, wow, your range is really amazing, So she was super cool. So this is one of the first, I don't know if you can see it very well because of the glare, but
awesome.
She signed down for me, and then she wrote here, a little quote there from the show. I don't have it upside down. Yeah, I do have it upside down, So she, my favorite quote, which is, if you pray enough, you can change yourself into a cat person, which is cool. Cause I was like, oh, what's that saying about the praying? She goes, oh, I know which one it is. And she wrote it off from memory. And I was trying to look it up. So I got it right. And she got it dead on accurate. Like she didn't even miss a single word. So I was like, wow, she's awesome.
It's interesting. Yeah. You've opened a door for a lot of these actors, realistically, because Heather and I are huge Funko Pop collectors, right? So when we want to get something autographed, it's always going to be a Funko Pop. And if you're an actor out there and you have TV shows and movies and you don't have a Funko Pop that you can sign, there's a lot of money that is not there for you, right? And Funko Pop's really changed everything. I remember seeing Michael J. Fox his autograph thing came around here. It was going to be at AwesomeCon. And it was like, here's the amount of money for a picture, here's the amount of money for something else, and then here's the amount of money for Funko Pops. And it was more money because you were getting a Funko Pop signed. So a lot of these folks that you're doing these signings for, you have opened up a door for them that do they even know that you're the reason for the Funko Pops being a thing?
I don't really discuss that.
That's incredible, man. You're the nicest guy in the world, because anybody else would be cutthroat and trying to make every dime that they possibly can. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh, it's cool. I'm just so happy to be a part of it. It just shocks me. You're just genuinely a nice guy. That's all I have to say. Because I feel like I would be a bigger a-hole. I think I'd be a bigger asshole if it came to me. I hate to say it.
No. I think that, I guess money comes and goes, and I'm not rich or anything by any stretch of the imagination. I invest my money very poorly, So, for me, it's more just for me, it's just more of the experience, right? Like, you can't just go and say, hey, here's this much money, I want to go meet this person,
Sure.
So for me, I get paid that way, and so for instance, Andy Buckley, aka David Wallace, he invited me to his home. I went literally to his house.
That's incredible, dude.
Yeah,
That's
it was
incredible.
crazy. He spent a good amount of time with us, well over an hour and a half, and just chatting, and and then he's like, all right, so what, after we finished, he's like, oh, what do you have for me to sign? What do you got, And so I took a bunch of, those plastic The Office signs, like the marquee signs.
Yeah.
And he just sat there autographing them, and a bunch of them he wrote like different quotes on them and stuff like that. All on his own. And he just wrote "sucking" on this one, and did you have to cut the dummy's face off on that one? What I always, David Wallace quotes on him, and I just loved it. It was amazing. And then I wore my Suck It hoodie, the one that's framed there. I was wearing it. To be fair, it was, again, I said it was June, July. I think it was June. It was like 1,000,000 degrees in Los Angeles, and I'm here like outside because of COVID, with a mask on and a hoodie, and I'm
my God.
Dying out there.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I'm not taking this off, man. That's Daddy Wallace right there. I'm not gonna take that off, So then, after the whole thing, obviously COVID makes everything just so much weirder,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, can I get a picture with you? Like, is it okay if I'm like 6 feet away and take my oh, we're good. As long as you breathe your direction, hold your breath. I'm good. I'll hold my breath. We're good. I was all right,
That's
and
awesome.
And we were doing a signing outside, in like this little cool area he has, and he has a big 2-car garage in his backyard. And he had a pair of drum sets, and I was like, oh, dude, because he's like, oh, I'll get my Suck It hoodie. So he ran inside and put his Suck It hoodie on. And again, in 90-something degree weather, he put his Suck It hoodie on and take a picture of me, which was amazing.
That's so awesome.
No, dude, you have no idea. So then I went ahead and I was like, Andy, he's like, yeah, what do you got? I was like, I have a small favor. He's like, what? I was like, can I please sit at your drum sets and take a picture with you there? He's like, of course. And so he took a picture there with me, which is the one that I have on my Instagram. I have it up here too. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
yeah.
And I framed it there with that too. So it's just amazing. So he put that there. I took a picture with him there, and that was like the highlight of like my life. I feel like it was just such an amazing moment. And then as I was leaving, after he signed everything, I was like, oh my God, wait, sign my hoodie. He's like, yeah. So he signed the hoodie, and then I framed it, which breaks my heart because I love it. But I used to wear that hoodie all the time. I love hoodies. I'm a hoodie like fanatic, and I still haven't ordered a new one yet because the guy who made them stopped making them. I'm like, because everyone gets the color wrong or gets the font wrong.
Right.
He had it like pretty dead on. So I was like, damn. So I'm still waiting to get another Suck It hoodie. But yeah, Andy Buckley was just amazing. Most cast members obviously charge something. 100% of the funds that he would have made, he didn't charge. We actually put that as a donation for Wounded Warriors.
Wow, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we did. So I was in the military. I was in the Army, 82nd Airborne, for 6 years.
Wow.
Fort Bragg, and then I got out. And PTSD hits a lot of us, So Wounded Warriors has done a lot for us. So the majority of the signings that I did last year, a portion of the profits went to Wounded Warriors. We did the COVID Actors Fund for out of work actors because obviously Hollywood stopped.
Right.
We donated with Angela signing. We actually did Much Love Animal Rescue, which is over there in Los Angeles, and they're absolutely amazing. So huge, I think like a couple $1,000s went to them as well, and it's all about that. It's just for the fun, and help people out, and just, I think everyone's happy,
You're amazing.
So I think that's all that matters.
Well, number one, thank you for your service. Number two, holy shit, you're the nicest person I think I've ever met in my life, Heather. I can't get over this. He's ridiculous. Like at every turn, you're like doing great things and nice things, and it's unbelievable.
I told you.
No, you did. I didn't. It wasn't like I was in disbelief, but wow. So David, the actor that plays David Wallace, would you say that's like the best experience you've had as far as like the actors go so far?
Oh, I don't want to say. It's a really tough one because I've had a lot of awesome experiences with all of them already. Angela, when I met her, we chatted for a while. As much as I love the show, I don't like to like fangirl out in front of them, so I don't ask them like maybe one or two questions max, about the show, and the rest I ask about them, So Angela, I asked her about her situation because if you don't know much about Angela Kinsey, she was remarried. Her new husband has kids from a previous marriage. Can you guys see me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Her new husband has, kids from a previous marriage, and she has a child from a previous marriage, and they have a blended family. I also, have children from a previous marriage, and now with my new wife, we have 2 new children. So it's a blended family. I have 4 kids, so trust me, it's a lot of work here.
Sure, absolutely.
So it's a lot, and then. With Angela, I just wanted to find out how they met and how they fell in love. And she was like so refreshed by that. And she shared with me the most amazing story, which is a whole nother podcast, She was just the sweetest person in the whole world. And it just went super nice. We had just a great like conversation. It wasn't like a fan meeting a celebrity. It just genuinely felt like friends, and she follows me and she helped me, with Creed, which is actually her neighbor, which blows my mind. They're like, they live a few doors down from each other, and they come to each other's house, which is cool. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So Creed lives like right there next to her. And so we did a signing with Creed, and we're doing another signing with Creed now that he has a Funko Pop.
Cool.
So we got that going. And, it's just come up that way with everyone. It's just been, it's just a crazy experience.
So your mind, was it completely blown when you saw the first Office Funko Pops? I mean, was it just like surreal?
Oh man. The very first one I got it like maybe, which breaks my heart. Right. So I got it and with, like about a week or 2 before anyone got them.
Wow.
And I just couldn't post it. I was asked not to share it yet.
Wow.
And I'm like, damn it.
Wow.
So I'm like staring at like literally what I feel like is Instagram gold, right? Like if I post this,
oh my
it's gonna
God,
get like
dude.
a billion likes and like whatever, and I couldn't post it, and I just sat there for days. I was super happy and I felt like, cool, man. And we're talking about like, I don't know, March, late February, March. And I'm like, well, my New Year's resolution is over with.
I made it.
Done, but yeah, so it was just surreal, and then of course, the day that they finally got released, I could start posting pictures, and I did, and it was just a cool experience, and I was just really happy to physically see them in my hand, and have them here. And then since then, as most people have seen it, just like has blown up, and they keep making more now, you know.
They won't stop.
And yeah, I thought they were stopping. I honestly thought like after this last round, like that's it. And then they're making more now. Mm-hmm. I think there's like another, I think in total 12 or 14 more coming out still.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I've been trying my best to continue the process of getting more autograph signings with other people, So from there, we moved on. We recently just did Craig Robinson. That was here.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he's cool. He's one of the first cast members that I actually met. I met him here when I met him in Miami, just to give you an idea, right? So I'll show you this picture. I'll take it right off the wall for you. When I met him here in Miami, hopefully the glare you can see it. Okay.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yes. Oh
I
my
gave
gosh.
him a custom Funko Pop. It wasn't even out yet. Right.
Wow.
So that's me. That's my beautiful wife who got me into the office. You guys can thank her later. That's him holding a custom. That's not him holding a real one, So I had someone make a custom and everything else from the design that we had. And then it just, he was super cool and super thankful with it, We got to talk. We got to talk maybe for like 30 minutes or so, backstage and everything else. And then my wife and I took off, So he's actually the very first cast member I ever got to meet, which was really cool, And then from there, obviously, it just became crazy.
Yeah, big time. It's interesting because you mentioned you contact Funko and they said, well, you have to have 10,000 people backing you and all this stuff. I remember for a very long time, people were literally screaming to Funko that they wanted Office Funko Pops. And the fact that it took that much work and effort to actually have it done is mind-boggling, because Funko has to know that they're going to make a ridiculous amount of money off of them, because they made a ridiculous amount of money off of television shows like Friends, and I think Modern Family was another good one for them. The Office is, like you mentioned before, The Office is like this huge monster, especially when it hit Netflix. It became way bigger, I think, than it ever had been. And nowadays, people are still watching it hardcore. And in fact, I remember, what was it, earlier this year, they took it off of Netflix, and now it's on the NBC app. And I remember people going crazy that it was coming off Netflix, and how dare them, do this to us and everything else. It's just, it makes me wonder, is Funko like completely blind as to what the fans actually want? Because The Office would, to me, as just a commoner watching Funko Pops come out and everything, and TV shows and pop culture, that one just rings a bell to me in my head saying, this is something that would sell big time.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I think, to be fair, I think obviously it's a double-edged sword, right? So I think this would sell amazing, right? That's amazing. I think, a Funko Pop of Michael Scott doing XYZ would sell great. But obviously licensing is a whole other animal.
Sure.
And these are all things that do take time and do take a ton of money. Not saying that Funko doesn't have it, but clearly it's not very easy, to acquire these things. There's a lot of red tape. And even for that, there's a lot of bureaucracy, both from Funko and also from NBC, to be fair. So, like, in a conversation that I had, I can't share with who, but it was with someone at Funko in headquarters. We were talking about the possibility of me getting an exclusive, and hopefully that comes through still. And the only thing that had held me back at that time was the licensing through NBC. So they were supposed to, like, the characters that I had asked for, which one of them was David Wallace with the Suck It hoodie on as a chase. They said they couldn't do it for whatever reason. They didn't do it. NBC wouldn't approve it. And then right now I do have another one that's still waiting on approval. So hopefully if that goes through, that'd be really cool.
That's amazing.
That's the one thing I'm really hoping would happen, because I think that'd be a really cool experience, for that. But yeah, it's just with them. I like I said, I think it's partially just NBC as well, saying, hey, you can have the licensing for these characters, and then if they want to do a certain moment, I think NBC has to okay that moment first. I don't know, but it seems like it's something like that, because David Wallace can get approved, just not in the Suck It hoodie.
Right.
So it's just certain things they don't want to do.
Interesting. I wonder if it's because it says "Suck It" on there. Maybe that has something to do with it.
No, I think other things. I mean, I've seen Funko Pops that are way more racy than just saying "Suck It."
Sure. Well, bloody and all that. Yeah.
So I don't think that's a huge deal.
Somebody has an interesting question in the comment section coming from Dean Blockley, who Dean Blockley is from Australia, from Down Under.
Oh, nice. What's up, mate?
He asks, have you had a cast member turn down your invitation?
Yeah. I've reached out to, if they have a Funko Pop, I reached out to all of them. If they don't have a Funko Pop, I reached out to all of them. So because the way I looked at it, like for instance with Creed, when Creed, we did an autograph signing with Creed, they didn't have a Funko Pop of him yet, and still technically we haven't. We have one on the way, but we don't have one yet. So at that time, I linked up with a buddy of mine, Brady Custom Pops on Instagram, and he made me a custom Funko Pop of Creed. So I ended up getting those autographed, and people went nuts over them. So if you don't give me 2 seconds, I'll put them off my wall.
Oh
here.
yeah, sure, absolutely.
A different location, but I have some Funko Pops that just genuinely don't exist because Funko hasn't made them. I keep them up here where they're safe because for kids.
Yeah.
So you got to be really careful.
Sure.
So here's a custom that we made of Hide.
Right? Oh, that's awesome.
He autographed it for us.
That's so cute.
So he's got the 2 thumbs up there, his Dunder Mifflin jacket,
Aww.
And he's the sweetest guy in the whole world. here's an autograph, Andy Buckley, suck it.
There you go.
You know?
So at least you have one.
And he literally wrote "suck it" on there for me, you know. And then
Aw.
DW for David Wallace, so that's awesome. Here is a Bob Vance refrigeration. he even wrote Bob Vance there for us.
That's
So
amazing.
that was cool. Sorry about my ring light. I know that's crazy.
No, it's
and
okay.
here's the Creed one. Here's the Creed one that we did.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a
cute.
bloody Creed that we did, and there's also, this is the Chase one, which is him with the black hair where he's like, "Hey, I'm 30." You know?
Oh yeah.
So that's him. That's his autograph, and he signed it, and then you know, so we put that on there. So
That's cool.
And then like a week after we finished that signing, Funko announced that they're making the Creed one. I'm like, I wish you guys would tell me this stuff before,
Seriously.
you know, which is great. People are still happy and love them, you know, and you know, in some cases, like, it's pretty cool to have that. But you know, as soon as they announced that they were making a Funko Pop of Creed, I called Creed on the phone. I said, "Hey, can we do another signing?" And he goes, "Yeah, let's do it." You know, so I started ordering Funko Pops and talking to friends, you know, the same people. See how everything works to me, like it's karma based almost, you know. And I'm not some hippie, I swear to God, but I just genuinely feel it's true though. So like, good energy brings you back good energy, and you know, in the beginning when the Office Funko Pops started coming out, like I told you, I never sold them or, you know, became a Funko store and started selling the Office Funko Pops. I could have. My website used to get tons of hits, you know. But I always just sent, like, Circle City Toys is one of the people who I used to always send business to and whatever. And they always offer me, "Hey, what can we pay you?" I was like, "No, just send me a few free pops and I'm happy," you know. And he's like, "Yeah, we got you." So that, you know, they were always super cool. So then now they're basically my supplier. So whenever I have to order stuff, I don't pay stuff at retail. I pay it at cost to them, you know. So they help me out, and I don't have to worry about dealing with all that, opening a corporation and a million different things, you know. I just get it done that way, and then it just works out, you know, great for me.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. Well, so kind of the rewind a little bit, you had mentioned, "Hey, I wish Funko would have told me about this in advance." Has Funko ever told you about drops in advance? Like, "Hey, these Funko Pops are about to come out." Are they giving you that kind of heads up?
Sometimes I've gotten emails about certain things that are coming out soon. Like, not soon, I guess. Like, I have like 6 months in advance, you know,
Okay.
and stuff like that. And then I do have a lot of people who find leaks and they send them to me, you know.
Sure.
And then sometimes it's like literally the same day I just found out from Funko, or like a day before I found out from Funko, you know. So sometimes they do tell me, but it's very few and far between. Like, we really don't communicate much. Like, I wish I could say, "Oh, we talk all the time." No, I talk with cast members more than I do with Funko, which
Wow.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
I'm surprised they didn't invite you to come out to like headquarters or something.
Oh, I wish, you know, that'd be cool. I was just super happy when I went to LA and they had the Funko shop there. You know, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But no, but other than that, I mean, I don't have like a hookup like that or anything like that, you know.
So who's your dream cast member to meet up like you've been doing thus far?
Well, obviously, I think everyone wants to go for Steve Carell.
Yeah.
You know, we made a significant offer for Steve Carell, and it was turned down, you know, and it was very heartbreaking, you know, but it is what it is. You know, I just don't think he does those type of things or whatever else. I know he does sign Funko Pop. Like, if you see him in the street, he'll sign one for you, whatever. But for him to sit down and just sign, you know, a ton of them, he just doesn't want to do that, I guess. So it was turned down. So I think from that one, we do have next month, we do have Rainn Wilson already. So that's huge.
Awesome.
I'm really excited to do a signing with him. Because obviously I did Angela. I did a signing with Angela. So now I have Mrs. Shroot, you know. And then I also did a signing with Isabel, which is Kellen Coleman. She is like the sweetest person on earth as well. Which, if you remember, which I know Heather hasn't gotten there yet, but from the wedding episodes and all that, she's Pam's best friend in the show.
Yes.
You know, from college and all that. And she, you know, I met her too, and I did an autograph signing with her. She was super sweet. I actually have a custom Funko Pop of her, and I have an autographed one coming in too.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So that'd be another custom that I have autographed. So most of my ones I have are custom ones. that are autographed, and then a bunch of them that I've signed myself, or I had signed with them myself, But no, it's great. It's just been, I guess Steve Carell would be cool. I really wish he would come around. That'd be amazing if somehow it came out. Just not necessarily because of the money factor, because the majority of the money goes to them, and I always keep it fair. I try to keep it like what you would have paid at a Comic-Con,
Right.
So for instance, like Rainn Wilson, at Dallas, whatever, he was charging $80 for a basic signature. I think it was $90 if you wanted it on a Funko Pop or something like that. And this is obviously pre-pandemic. So we had started, I think our start at $130, a Funko Pop of Rainn Wilson autographed, with a certificate of authenticity, the whole nine, from JSA on it, includes, the Funko Pop, obviously a protector and the whole nine. And then I think that's very reasonable considering the cost it takes to go meet him and do all those things, and obviously his time and all that stuff. So we try to keep it reasonable, especially when you see him online. There's some that go for $200, $250,
sure.
$300. It's crazy, So we always try to keep it that way. And then we do talk to them about getting personalizations, and sometimes some cast members are cool with that, some aren't. So we do get some personalized, so with Rainn, you can order it however you want. You can say, to whatever your name is, however you want, whatever quote you want, he'll write it all right down there for you, and then we'll send it to you. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool process. It takes a little bit of time, but it's a pretty cool process.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of weird. I know what you're talking about with going to cons, because Heather and I would go to cons and have things signed all the time. And there are some people who just they have no interest in writing anything else but signing their own name. And,
yeah,
the personalization not being there is always, in my opinion, kind of a bummer, because all they have to do is write a couple more words. You know what I mean? It drives me crazy, and it kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth. The fact that Rainn Wilson is willing to do it all is, to me, not shocking, because Rainn Wilson just seems like a really awesome dude.
Yeah, no, he really is. I mean, I haven't had a conversation with him obviously just yet, but with his people and everything else, it seems like everything is going to work out really smooth.
Cool.
So I think it's going to work out great, thankfully, and so hopefully mid-May we're doing that signing with him, and I really look forward to that. I've been pretty close to a couple other really big cast members. I don't want to share that just yet. One of them is already locked up, but I'm waiting for their new Funko Pop to come out before I put that out there. And we have already, I think still this year, we have like 6 more signings coming up or something.
Wow.
6 or 7 more signings coming up. So it's pretty wild.
So you're super involved with like The Office and everything, but excuse me, as you're doing this, it seems like only getting bigger and bigger. You're finding these, different cast members. Have you ever thought to grow this out past just The Office and to do other things also? Because just to throw it out there, like the Marvel films, Marvel Studios, that's like huge, right? And there's so many different actors out there, big and small, that would make for perfect autograph sessions, especially during the time of COVID. Has this something you've thought about?
Yeah, I mean, there are some other shows that I don't watch a lot of TV, believe it or not, with the exception of The Office that I usually have just literally on loop. I work primarily from home a few hours a day, because most of the time I'm watching my kids. So my wife she works, and she actually, it's funny because I literally married Toby. My wife works human resources for NBC. So that's as close as Toby as I can get, I guess.
What? She works for human resources at NBC?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Here in Miami.
Wow.
So it's literally as close to Toby as I can get, I guess. Not on purpose. I don't have a Toby fetish, I promise. But it just happened to be that way, So, it was just a funny, thing that happened, and it just, everything just worked out, I guess, So I'm just really excited. I keep trying my best to make these signings happen. And hopefully they'll continue going that way. Well,
the reason why I asked that question, if it grows outside the office, because when you start dealing with all these different people and quote unquote handlers of, the actors and actresses, it almost feels like you're opening other doors, right? Because you might be talking to people who are handling other actors that are a part of other things.
I've been offered a couple, and I've been kind of like reluctant, not necessarily. Like for instance, Nick Offerman, which is Ron Swanson, right,
Yes.
from Parks and Rec.
Yes.
Love the guy. You know, I had the opportunity to do something with him, and also with Aziz Ansari.
Wow.
The only problem is that Aziz is very expensive, and like for me, it's scary because like they have a certain minimum that they want, and if I commit to that minimum, if I don't pre-sell that much, like it's mine, I have to pay for it out of pocket.
Oh, boy.
Again, I'm not rich, so
Yeah, sure.
you know, like whenever I have things on the shelves, it kind of hinders me from being able to move on to the next signing, and I just want to kind of keep them out there at a fair price to fly them in and out, you know, so I can move that to the next signing and the next guy and the next guy, you know. And that was the big thing I was scared with Aziz. One, because obviously the cost factor of what he was charging per autograph, and also his Funko Pop for Parks and Rec actually came as a part of a 2-pack. And so it was more expensive. It was discontinued. It was a hard one to get. So it's like, oh, you know. And then Nick Offerman at that time only had the Ron Swanson one, which now he has another one. And I think there's another one coming out too, you know. But it was a bit more expensive, you know. And I don't know my following, if they are a lot of, you know, Parks and Rec fans, or even Brooklyn Nine-Nine fans and stuff like that, you know. So I've started little by little kind of experimenting with that, even just something so simple as with Craig Robinson, you know. I loved him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They don't have a Brooklyn Nine-Nine Funko Pop of him, but I got an 8x10 of him in one of my favorite moments where he's wearing the NYC PD, you know, jacket. So I got him to autograph those, and I think they're great.
That's cool.
But they really haven't moved very much. They're very slow to move, you know. And so it's kind of like a balance, you know. Like
Sure.
To me, it's not a business, because I'm not like, look at the bottom line, you know. I'm not trying to do all that, but I also have to see, like, if it worked, great, get it out of here, you know.
Sure.
Like, so I can move on to the next guy. You know?
That's the last thing you want, is a room full of pops that are signed by somebody that you can't move at all.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a couple other questions here. I don't think you're going to be able to answer this, but somebody's asking, do you know of any Stan Lee playing basketball pops coming out? Everybody's begging
That
for
would be amazing. That would be amazing. And I was laughing about that because our friends over at Chalice Collectibles, if you've seen that, they have a Michael Scott playing basketball, you know, basically in the same position that Michael Jordan is doing that dunk. And then they have 2 Dwights coming. And it's kind of the one thing that broke my heart, because they're sending me a ton of those pops for free, like a ton of those pops for free. And the signing just didn't work out. I was hoping to get those autographed by Rain as well. So I'm gonna talk to him about maybe like a mail option with him or something, or a second signing if I have to, because I would love to get the basketball one of him, you know, autographed. But the second I saw those basketball ones, the very first thing I thought of was exactly that: the Stanley dribbling with the windbreakers. Is such a classic, hilarious moment. And I have that relationship with Leslie that I can get those signed. We have a signing coming up here next month as well. So I was really hoping to get those, you know, taken care of, and it would have been nice. I would love that.
That'd be a great pop. I know Heather would be up for that one. That'd be number 1 for her.
That would be fire.
Is my favorite episode. I'm only on we're just about to start season 3. So I just finished up the end of season 2, Casino Night, which I loved. But basketball, it's my favorite.
That's your favorite episode so far?
It's my favorite.
Question: if Funko and NBC approved one new Office Funko Pop of your choice, what would it be?
No limitations.
Ooh, man. I mean, I feel like I would choose a new character, because obviously we have, and I don't want to say we have enough Michaels. Keep making Michaels, but if I had to choose anyone, I think it'd have to be Robert California. You know,
oh yeah.
I love the Lizard King, you know, so there's something with him. I don't know if you guys have watched, you know, my wife and I, sometimes we watch a show called Blacklist, and he's in there, you know.
Yes.
And he's literally Robert California in that show. Like, he just speaks in hyperbole and all these things the same way. And I love it. It just reminds me of him, you know? And that's one of my favorite characters, you know? So that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool. Like to get a new character we don't have yet.
So it's funny that you bring that up, because I'm one of those Office fans that, for me, it ends at season 7. Like, I'm usually done at season 7. It's hard for me to get past it. Are you a fan through and through? You like all of the episodes and seasons and everything?
Yeah, you know, I guess having a lot of the, you know, the behind the scenes stories of why he left, it just breaks your heart that much more, because Steve Carell, he does things with love too. You know what I mean? And I think that's why it shows in his acting. You know, like every voice break and and the way he just genuinely does things. And apparently, from conversations I've had, a lot of things that he did was literally just ad lib. It wasn't scripted. It was just he just felt like doing it, and it worked.
Wow.
You know, yeah, which is great. You know, so many funny moments that he just came off the top of his head, because that's how I feel. Like, if you love it and you're really trying your best, that's how these things flow to you. You know, if you're reluctant, you hate your job, and you show up there, not only is your job, your hours are going to feel a lot longer, but you're just not going to put yourself into it that way. And he did put himself into it that way. And for those of you who don't know, he just didn't get renewed. He didn't leave because he was huge and because he was famous and all that. He just didn't get renewed. And he found that out like at the last possible moment.
Wow.
So it was very heartbreaking when I found that out. You know, it wasn't, I always thought it was, oh, well, he, you know, started doing all these movies and just making millions upon millions. And he's like, I don't want this anymore. That's what I thought.
Sure.
Which kind of made it seem like a dickish thing in my mind. You know, selfish of me, because I wanted him to be there for more. But that's how I felt. But it wasn't. It was actually the opposite. He was heartbroken that they didn't renew him, you know. So, yeah, The Office does take a different path after season 7, obviously. But there are so many great moments from the following seasons, and it's kind of like a family. That's genuinely the way they are, you know. All the cast members, they have a text that I'm dying to get on that chain of, but they have a text chain called Office Peeps
cool.
with themselves. Yeah. And so, like, for instance, if one person has an Office fan who, you know, God forbid, but has cancer, and Stanley's their favorite, you know, they'll text, hey, can Stanley do this, you know, say this message to this person, and he'll do it. He'll send the message right back, and everyone will send a message. And it's nice if you're having some sort of, you know, negative thing in your life, to have that. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
So it's really cool they do that, you know. That's a little inside thing that they do, which is amazing that they do, because I don't really know of too many people, but they really genuinely are a family, from the guy who hold the microphone to the hair people, to the makeup, to the costume designers. Everyone, they still keep in contact with each other. Photographers, everyone. And they're all super cool with each other, because it was just a really magical time. So, you know, I don't know. It's really hard to say, you know, to be honest.
Sure. We have a couple of questions here.
Sure.
Somebody says, no Brooklyn Nine-Nine at all. Next year's resolution?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. My wife was telling me this year, when the resolution came out, she goes, what's your resolution this year going to be? And that's the very first thing. I was like, damn, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I like that show. My wife doesn't like that show for whatever reason. She just doesn't like it. She got into Parks and Rec. I had to like fight her into it. She refused to get into Parks and Rec, because Parks and Rec is a little bit of a slow start. Like, all you hear is the pit, and it gets kind of annoying, you know. But then once it picks up, it gets amazing, you know. And I feel kind of like Brooklyn Nine-Nine has its moments, and Andy Samberg is a little bit like, oh my god, you get kind of sick of him sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a great show. I love it. So she just wasn't pick up on it. So that was kind of a joke between her and I. But yeah, I would love that. I would love some Brooklyn Nine-Nine pops.
Yeah. Heather and I are like knee deep. Well, more or less me, because you keep falling asleep. But I'm knee deep in Modern Family right now. So that's like my obsession.
I love Modern Family.
Modern Family is my obsession right now.
Yeah, I love Modern Family.
Well, in fact, I think we're going to try to track those pops down. I saw a couple of them the other day at the store, but I don't know. There was only like 2 out of like 6 or whatever. somebody's asking, would you like an Office Freddy Funko?
Yeah. I listen. At the end of the day, anything The Office related, I'm gonna buy. Let's just be honest. I have masks for the pandemic. I have I have underwear, socks. I mean, you name it, I have it. Literally, my boat is named after an Office moment. So
that's awesome.
Everything. Yeah, my boat's named. I declare bankruptcy.
That's awesome.
So. Yeah, of course. I have to. How can you not?
Sure.
I wanted to do a huge rap on it. My wife's like, if you do a rap, I'm not getting on that boat. But I was like, oh my God, it'd be so cool with like paper clips and Post-it notes flying off the thing. But she's like, no. I was like, damn it. All right, So, but no, it's just everything. If it has The Office on it, I'm gonna buy it. That's just the way it is. Hence why I'm poor. But it just, I don't know. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
I think if I'm thinking about an Office Freddy Funko, I'm thinking a do-rag wearing Freddy Funko in Michael Scott's suit. Remember
like a prison mic.
The prison mic, yeah. But
that's
it's
not
like
a do-rag. That's a bandana.
or bandana, yeah, whatever it is. But the bandana, like I think that would be a really cool. How it's like purple and just put it on top of his head. It'd be a whole new mold, but.
That would be very easy to tell who it is because a lot of the Office characters, I mean, you're in like a suit or like a little skirt or something. So they're people pops.
Exactly.
So putting that iconic purple bandana on Freddy Funko, you'd be like, he's being Michael Scott.
Exactly, yeah. I think that would be the best choice, I think. Wow. So tell us a little bit about the website because, we've come up on an hour already. This kind of went faster than I thought it was going to go.
Okay. I told you he's awesome.
But the website, so it's theofficefunkopops.com.
Yeah, it's a little messy right now, and I do apologize for that because I'm reworking it now. So originally the website, before I started doing autograph signings and COVID existed and all that, the website used to have, and I actually had an app that I had made. And it was a free app. The app was called the Office Cast Tracker app, which is long gone and dead. But I had started the app, and the app was tied into the website as well. So on the website, I used to have calendar dates, and you can sort it by city, you can sort it by cast member, by month, whatever, and you can see what Comic-Cons they're going. I used to put all the links to the tickets, how much each cast member is charging, which cast member is going to be there, what dates, what hours. I used to put all the information all for free, And then obviously because of the pandemic, I took all that stuff down because there'd just be a huge dead section because there is nothing right now. But I guess now they're starting up. So very slowly here shortly, I will be adding that back up and hopefully re-kicking off that app again.
Excellent. Okay. And people can find you at the Office Funko Pops on Instagram. They can go to your webpage, theofficefunkopops.com. How about anywhere else? Is there anywhere else that you post regularly, social media?
Yes. On Facebook, we just started a group, The Office Funko Pops, just the way it is. We also have a group there. We just started it not long ago. We're about to hit 1,000 members, which seems awesome.
Awesome.
I don't know much about Facebook. Guys, honestly, I'm terrible with Instagram. I'm just really bad with that stuff and Facebook. So I'm learning all that stuff just genuinely for this. I've always been anti-Facebook, and I don't like sharing my life out there. I'd rather just live it,
Right.
But I've learned to love it now because like Instagram, I've met so many really, like you guys included, just genuinely nice people. I've met some jerks too, but for the majority of it, really great people. To have great conversations like we're having today and just help each other out, and it's just been really cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, we appreciate you coming on here and telling us your story. I'm almost feeling like you should start to write a book because I know you gave us sort of the condensed version. I know that your story is just really wild. I don't think I've ever, I put my mind to our YouTube channel and stuff, but you really put your mind to this thing, man, and it really exploded. So kudos to you for doing it.
Oh, thank you.
You know, as a New Year's resolution, my New Year's resolution always is to eat better and to get a little more physical and go to the gym. And none of that shit ever happens. But here you are.
Right?
You built this you're building this empire, and it's absolutely unbelievable.
Well, like I told my wife, I'm never gonna lie to you, and so why am I gonna lie to myself and say, yeah, I'm gonna start working out and becoming the 6-pack guy. Look, I play ice hockey, which I haven't played for a year now because of this stupid pandemic. And it's killing me. But I play ice hockey. I'm very active, either boating or playing with my kids or swimming in the pool. I'm always doing something anyways. I work on cars, so I'm always doing something. So for me, I stay fit in my mind that way, That's good enough for me. I feel like my heart's good. I'm happy,
Sure. That's funny because you play ice hockey just like Michael Scott.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like if I could do anything with anyone, it would be playing ice hockey with him because he like if you watch him skate like which I know Heather hasn't got there yet, but in Threat Level Midnight when he ice skates or for his birthday, when he ice skates as well, like he's a really good skater, and you can see those hockey moves come out on him.
Sure.
And being that he's from up north and all that, I think I would, if I could do anything with anyone, it would probably be ice hockey with him. Or drinking with Meredith, which hopefully I'll do soon, Headbanging in her van or something.
In her van, that would be amazing. Well, seriously, Arnold, thank you for taking time coming here and hanging out with us. I would really like to do this again and maybe dive into something a little bit different, talk a little bit more about the office stuff, maybe talk about the TV show a little bit, and then overall just BS with you a little bit.
Yeah. Anytime. For either, Gastlecast or for the office orientation, if you guys want to have me on or anything like that, I'm always available pretty much.
Office
I'm always
orientation.
here for you guys.
Yeah, the office orientation would be great. That'd be great to have you on. Let Heather know some of your favorite episodes and she'll keep you in mind for when we're about to do them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, obviously, like my favorite of all pops, and it's already come out a while ago, obviously, it's Prison Mike, Prison Mike is my jam, hence why he's my little logo, That's my favorite. That's my favorite. I think between that one and the Scranton Boys one. And that's why I ordered many of the Scranton Boys pops, because that's obviously a 2-pack. And I'm still hoping that, the gods smile upon me and that Michael Scott, a.k.a. Steve Carell, will change his mind and make it happen. And if he does, that's why I wanted to have all those, Rainn Wilson sign on one half, and then if I can get him to sign the other half, it's going to be insane, So that's what I'm really hoping for, But yeah,
and I feel like that every Funko Pop should say that's what she said. I mean, maybe that's why he's not interested in it. He doesn't want to have to write all of that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, but if you told me I would just sign it, I don't want to write nothing on it, I would not complain,
Sure.
Because I see. One of the biggest things that I think bothers me the most, and I don't know how much time I have, but
go ahead. No,
because you see a lot of fakes online, So I'll go on eBay or on Mercari or different websites, and you see a lot of clearly fake signatures.
Sure.
And then they're way overpriced. They're more than what I sell a real signature for. And then they're clearly fake. And then you see like minutes later, boom, sold. And damn, someone just paid $150 for a fake, Dwight. Or a fake Michael Scott or something, and it breaks my heart because I genuinely know what those autographs should look like. Before the pandemic, I was a public notary, so I'm certified here in Florida. I've done marriages, I've married people, I've done everything a notary does as far as loan closings and stuff like that.
Wow.
So like I can legally like witness someone signing something, So that's why the first autographs you'll see, I have my own little COA on it, which is that sticker. Now I've been moving on to JSA just really for convenience of time because they make it so much easier, and a lot of people trust JSA. But like I said, I see so many fakes, and it just breaks my heart when you can't just like click report, and it gets taken off or something,
right.
And then you'll see 20 minutes later or the next. I always watch them, and then the next day on eBay, it's gone, and someone paid $200 for a fake Michael Scott, and it's like, that's heartbreaking,
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's frustrating, especially when you're doing an honest business, and maybe Steve Carell doesn't quite understand. A lot of these actors don't understand how big the shows have become, because The Office is so huge now that the fans would absolutely love him for taking time just to do some autographs and things. Maybe he doesn't really realize that, but I'm hoping that you win that fight and you can talk him into it. And one of these days we're on the office, FunkoPops.com, and he is there and we can finally purchase him. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I hope so.
Absolutely. Well, Arnold, thank you again so much for taking some time coming to hanging out with us. And we'll certainly do this again very, very soon.
Awesome, guys. Thanks again so much for having me. You guys stay safe.
Yeah, you too, man. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Of course. All right, guys. Thank you.
Later.
Bye.
All right, bye.
All right. So that was awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was actually something that Heather put together. Something I had nothing to do with. She's become pretty good friends with Arnold because of her podcast. And that was really amazing. In fact, I didn't expect to talk a little bit after, but I just wanted to say how much fun that was, and I feel like I learned a lot through our discussions with him. That was really great, and a big thank you to Arnold again for just coming and hanging out with us for a little while. We haven't done an interview series in quite a while, and I want to definitely get back more into it. We've been so busy with making video after video and having content for you on a daily basis, and which leads into we'll have a video for you tonight about Heather's Grail box. Is it going to be more valuable than my Grail box that I showed you a couple weeks ago? This video, yet another Heather in the making. Heather was. She had Funko Pops and she was putting them up on the shelves and unboxing them.
Okay, hold on. Listen. Here's the story. Chris likes to condense everything. I like to tell you guys every little detail, as you know, slow as molasses. So here's the Heather story. I am pulling my Pops out of box. I don't want a million freaking boxes on my shelves. It takes up too much space. So I'm pulling the Pops out of boxes. I'm flattening I can't say that word. Flattening them
the boxes
up. I am stacking the inserts. I'm putting them in totes. I'm storing them in the attic. And all of my Pops, with the exception of my signed Pops, are going to be out and displayed. So, with that being said, I was pulling these boxes of Pops out, and I was asking Chris, I was like, hey, can you help me, bring some of these into my office? And he was like, yeah. And I opened the lid, and he's like, I said, what? He said, you're not pulling those out. I said, you're not telling me what I'm doing with my Pops. He said, no, this is a video. I said, a video? Why? And he said, because all of that is amazing. So, with that being said...
Okay, by the way, you put up a way bigger fight than that.
I did.
You told me how stupid I was and that it was a dumb idea.
I didn't say it was a dumb idea. I thought
and you
were
called me an idiot.
I didn't call you an idiot.
You called me a dumbass.
I didn't call you a dumbass.
You called me a lot of names I think that you forgot.
I didn't call you any names.
Just kidding. I'm just
Stop
kidding.
making
I'm just
me
kidding.
Sound like
Go
a
ahead.
jerk.
Go ahead.
I am so excited. So it's the same exact size tote that Chris had. They're the big black totes with the yellow lids that you get at Costco or Home Depot or whatever. We buy them at Costco. And so it's the same amount that can fit in a box as Chris. I didn't compare the numbers on how many you had versus how many I had.
I have no idea. There's a lot.
But it's like
I believe there's more. I believe there's more.
Really?
I believe there's more. By
well,
maybe
you did
a couple.
have that 5-pack.
I did.
Yeah,
and
that
I believe
takes up a lot of space.
I believe that you had more than me.
But it's pretty good. And
it's pretty good.
We asked the question on YouTube. Can you pull that poll up? We asked the question on YouTube, whose box will be worth more? And Chris's box was worth $3,300. My box is worth, I can't tell you right now, but we had to add that up as we went, and I'm so excited to blow people's minds because there were people who answered Chris, there were people who answered Heather, and I'm not going to tell you who won, but I think either way, minds are going to be blown.
Yeah, I think so too. I was going to look and see if I could tell you what the
what the consensus
what the consensus was. Yeah.
So I was shocked at. Now this is gonna sound a little bit.
Okay, 179 votes total. It's a 69% goes to Heather and 31% goes to me. That's right. But I basically asked, we recently released a video of a full box of Chris's Marvel Grails. Well, guess what? We just found a box of Heather's Grails. Who do you think has the most expensive box or whatever?
And the funny thing is we didn't mention what type of pops mine are. Now, if you watch the channel, you've probably seen us unbox things. You've probably heard me talk a bunch of nerd stuff and what I'm into. I love Harry Potter. I love The Walking Dead. I love Disney stuff. I love horror. I love just so much. There's so many things that I love. So my collection is a little bit of everything.
I really thought you were going to name everything you liked.
No.
I'm so glad that you stopped.
There were a lot of people that brought up Walking Dead grails. They were like,
yes.
There's a lot of really awesome Walking Dead pieces. Well, spoiler alert, most of my Walking Dead pops are out of box in my office right now. So they were not in that box. So I'm like thrilled to show off what I have because a lot of our background has been Chris. I mean, for years has been mostly Chris's stuff.
Her stuff is going to blow your mind because I didn't even realize what we had until we made that video and we were stacking it here on the table. And at one point, I don't know if I said it on the video or not, I looked at Heather and I just said, I just cannot believe we have all of this. I can't believe we have all this stuff. It's ridiculous.
Not only like just that one, like we have probably upwards of 40 or 50 of those boxes filled with it's disgusting. But yeah, I think most of my big boys were in that box.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. For our patrons on Patreon, if you're not a patron on Patreon, you can go and check it out and see how you can sign up if you want to support the channel, patreon.com/Gastlecast. We're going to post the unedited version of the video that's going to be going up tonight at 8 p.m. So look out for the new video at 8 p.m., which will include all of Heather's Grails. Well, a bunch of Heather's Grails, not all of them. I'll be putting the unedited version of that on patreon.com/Gastlecast so people can watch that version also if they so wish to do so. That's been sort of a fun thing for us where people are watching unedited footage, kind of just to see how much work, we put into what we do. Because we record these long videos, sometimes they're like 30 minutes long. I condense them down to 10 minutes or so, or maybe a little bit more. I think this video actually is about 15 minutes. I do that because...
How long did we record for this video?
About 35 minutes.
35 minutes, and you condense it to 15.
And we condense it to about 15.
Okay.
And why that happens is because Heather and I will say something, and then we're like, I don't like the way that sounded. Let's say it this way instead. And then you'll see in the unedited version where we're rephrasing what we're saying, and we start over an entire section, and we just re-speak everything. So it's just interesting. You kind of see the workings of how the channel and the videos are done and all that kind of stuff. And me personally, I like behind the scenes stuff myself. And I figured that folks out there who are patrons would enjoy it as well. And it seems very much so like they are enjoying it because I get messages about that all the time. In fact, last night, the reason why I wanted to stay here live after Arnold had rolled out was because I'm starving for dinner right now. But last night we went live for our Google Meet Patreon chat, and we talked all things this guy in our background, as you get our background here. We talked all things Ghastly. We showed photos of Ghastly. We talked about future things with Ghastly. We went into all sorts of different areas about Ghastly, and I just want to say that people were just happy and in love with what we're doing, and it made me feel really good that we're in the right direction with Ghastly. So expect that if you're a patron that you're going to end up seeing stuff before anybody else. You're going to know practically what we're doing and what we're up to. So that's about it for that. It looks like Heather, What's Poppin' says Heather got my vote, so he or she has voted for you already about your box.
I had a lot of people on my side last night, and then today I saw a lot of people on Chris's side. I mean, the Marvel grails that you have are pretty badass.
Yeah, and that's not even all of them.
Yeah,
I actually have a ton. So we're going to do more videos like this where we unbox a lot of our grails and things.
As long as you guys enjoy them.
Yeah.
So,
well, people were enjoying it because they were asking for us to do more after our last video. So, and that made me happy that people are interested in seeing stuff like that. Not only are we going to do Funko news like you see all the time, we'll also do Funko unboxings and things, new stuff and our old stuff. One thing I did want to point out that I found very funny and interesting was that our Godzilla I think it's called, what's it called? It was Friday's video, I believe. Was it Friday? No, it was Monday's video. Funko Shop exclusive Mecha Godzilla, and it was the Zilla-sized BS. Zilla-sized BS. Believe it or not, this might be the most downvoted video we have ever created. It has 185 thumbs up and 24 thumbs down, which is unlike
somebody off.
Which is unlike any other video we've ever done. I don't know why that is. Maybe it was because I was yelling and being very loud. I'm not really sure because people sometimes don't like that. But wow, that was pretty incredible to me. So I got to go back and watch that video and see where I screwed up because maybe I did say something that people didn't like. I don't know. But that's all I've got for you guys.
Maybe I was busy being not funny in that video.
Oh, right,
because women aren't funny.
Yeah, somebody pulled the whole women aren't funny thing on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nuts. I'm sure you guys saw that on Instagram. By the way, if you're not over on our Instagram, go to @Gastlecast on Instagram and follow us there. We're doing a giveaway there right now for a Mecha Godzilla, believe it or not. Additionally, go to Facebook and join Gastlecast We Hunt Together. It's a great group full of great people hunting together. We're kicking people out left and right because people are trying to flip in the group, and if you try to flip, your ass is going to be out the friggin' door because we're not putting up with the crap.
I used to warn people, but now I'm just kicking people.
Yeah, we're not going to put up with crap anymore.
Because I've learned that if someone is flipping and you're like, hey man, you can't do that here. They just do it more like behind the scenes. Right. Or they'll come up with excuses. Oh, well, I did this. Or, oh, I didn't realize what group I was in. No, they're just going to get sneaky about it. And
we're not going to put up with it anymore.
No, just go away. Like, sell on Mercari, sell on eBay if that's what you're doing.
Or another Facebook group.
We want to help people obtain things they can't get. So, like, for example, this really comes in handy when there is an exclusive overseas that we can't get here or an exclusive here that they can't get overseas. Now, I mean, you have to ship overseas, so it's going to be more pricey to get the item in hand, but that has to happen no matter which way you slice it if you can't get it in your country anyhow.
Right.
But, you know, that's just one example of where the We Hunt Together comes in handy. Or, like, you know, people at HQ might have or that live near HQ might have access to pops that have sold out on Funko Shop, so they can go in and say, hey, I've got these 2 pops. I was able to snag them online, but I got these 2 pops in hand. Who needs one? Who needs one for $15 plus shipping? You know, it's nice. And I like that it's tight knit. I like that everyone's looking out for each other. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times someone will post a status, or not just make a post in the group, and people will tag people that they literally don't know in real life that they met through the group, and they're like, hey, I think you would dig this. Like an upcoming pop or something, for example. Like, people are getting to know each other because it is sort of like a tighter knit place. And that's the biggest feedback that we get is, I love that this feels like a family.
Absolutely. That's what it's supposed to feel like. That's what the idea was from the very beginning. It's supposed to feel like we are actually doing something good and helping each other instead of flipping and being assholes. I mean, that's literally the point of everything, right?
Yeah. I have someone actually coming over tomorrow. It's going to be, I think, a porch pickup sort of situation because we're social distancing, of course, but also I'm sort of busy tomorrow. But it's a We Hunt Together scenario. I'm giving them a zombie Moon Knight for retail. Excellent. Good for you, Heather. That's really sweet of you.
I
love making people happy, and
Me
if I
too.
can put a smile on someone's face and lose out on an extra 10 or 15 bucks that I would make on Macari, that makes me feel better.
Right. I agree. As I mentioned before, by the way, thank you for Heather's number one fan says they like this t-shirt. Thank you. It's Heather. Heather had it made for me. The Office Orientation. Again, that's something we don't talk enough about here. Heather does a podcast called The Office Orientation where she covers The Office each episode as she watches it for the very first time. So it's like her little journey of watching the show. I'm included in that podcast, and we have discussions. Sometimes we have some people on with us. Our good pal Morgan Mitchell was on with us for the last couple episodes. Really great guy. So just throwing that out there. You can find The Office Orientation anywhere podcasts can be found.
I also wanted to make a note. I make a note in my next podcast, if you even care to hear this. If you don't, I'm sorry. But I'm working on trying to restructure it. Because before, Chris and I were having conversations where it just felt like I was basically retelling the episode, and I don't want it to feel that way. I want it to feel like, I'm pointing out key plot points and maybe like some quotes here and there and telling you guys how I feel.
Right.
I'm still working on it. It's going to be like, it's such a work in progress because I'm not used to doing it this way, but I hope that people are enjoying it. The people that I have gotten feedback from seem to be, but I want to make it better, and I want to make it bigger, and I want to make it amazing, and I'm trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So if you listen to it and you have any sort of feedback for me, I would love to hear it. I'm always open to constructive criticism, and as a listener, I want to know what people want to hear. So I'm doing my best. It's really freaking hard.
It is.
Like on the Gastlecast, we can sit here and I can hold a Funko Pop and I can talk about it all day long. But when I'm reading from, I literally have a notebook where I take notes of The Office, and the whole time I'm like reading my notes, and I'm trying to come up with a way to make it work better and more seamlessly. And it's just very hard for me to do right now. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard. I feel like I'm real good at being in front of a camera doing Gastlecast stuff, but the second it comes to a podcast, I'm like, what am I doing?
Well, you're structuring it, and structuring things is not easy, and you got to figure out what the ebb and flow and make sure it works. And that takes a lot of, it's always a work in progress, but when we had that conversation the other day, I just thought, let's try to formulate it and make it a way where people who have watched the episodes come in and they're listening to it from your point of view. Because that's realistically, that's what the show is, right?
Yeah.
That's what the podcast is. So it's from your point of view, and I think that's the most important part about it. I think that's why people are really going to watch it.
Listen to it, you mean? Thank you guys very much. And yeah. I did see Eduardo posted that he's new to the group. Ed's nice. Thank you so much for joining the group and interacting. I've talked to him a couple of times in comments.
Excellent.
Yeah, he's really nice.
We have great people in that group.
We
seriously.
do.
And it's the people that come in there and they're invited in and things, and sometimes, or they join the group under for nefarious reasons to come in and flip and stuff like that. It's the only reason why we kick people, or if people just want to come in there and be complete jerks to other people. Those are the only two. The only two things you cannot do in the group is flip and be assholes. I mean, that's kind of...
Yeah, don't be mean.
That's on the rules. But I do want to say this. If you know anybody you'd like to see on this channel, that you'd like to see in an interview series...
I have somebody in mind that I'm actually going to contact right now.
Another channel that you'd like to see us work with, contact us on Instagram at Gastlecast and give us your ideas. We'd love to hear it. We're always looking to work with new people and to do big things. And like Heather said, she has somebody in mind, and I have a couple in mind also. So we'll have to see what this future holds. We are doing our best at growing the channel, trying to make it the best that it can be. And I hope that you guys are liking what we've been doing recently. It's funny because last night I went into my Facebook memories. I'm sure you guys know what that is. Facebook memories, it's like it shows what you've posted, in years past. And I stumbled upon a video from 2019. and I watched it just to kind of see what we were doing back in 2019. And I watched this video and I could tell like the camera wasn't like as clear because we were using webcams, and the sound was okay because we were using mics like these. And the video was okay. It was fine. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It was fine though. But watching it, I then went to our newest video that was posted last night and I watched it. And I was like, God, this is incredible. The change from just a couple of years. Like leaps and bounds have upgraded and changed, and it looks different, and the lighting's really well done, and the sound is on point, and we both have our own personality shining through into the show, and we're funnier, I feel like, nowadays. And then we're jumping on these interesting topics. People, in fact, I say interesting, not because I'm finding them. We get a lot of topics from other people throwing them our way, and then Heather and I just put together and cobble together what we're going to do. And I just got to tell you, it is really hard to make a video every single friggin' day. I mean, think about that. Coming up with a new idea every day. I mean, people only have a certain amount of money. You know, Heather and I make enough money to we live.
You make money. I sit back.
Right. Well, I make
right
money
now.
and we survive on our money, and we do well, and we save and everything else. So there's only so much we can go out and buy and show in front of the camera. And it seems like as of late, our news videos seem to be the most popular. You know, we're talking about things that happened in the day. And it's not easy either, because we get in front of the camera and it's, the day has had its, I guess, events. And we're basically talking about those events and talking about what has happened in the community and talk about what people are saying. And it's fun. It's fun, but it's very challenging, because I come home from work and then I sit down. Heather and I look at each other and basically look at each other in the eyes to make sure we're both ready for what we're about to do. We come in and sit in these chairs.
Sometimes we're not ready.
And throughout the day, typically Heather and I discuss like what we're going to do and what we're going to say, but not in detail. Just like, here's what the subject is going to be. Think about things. We literally sit in front of the camera and we just go at it. I mean, it isn't like we have anything written. Somebody asked the other day, somebody said, you guys are really funny. Is this scripted? And the answer to that is, if you're wondering, there is no script. And there's never any script. The only script might be me feeding some lines to Heather or
me feeding some lines to Chris because he can't talk.
Right, that too. Right, exactly. Feeding lines to each other, just to make sure that what we're saying is right. Because sometimes we'll get to talking, and I'm almost 100% positive that I have ADHD. I really do need to get that checked out, because there are times where I'll be talking to, even here on the live, you'll notice a lot of the times where I'll look away and then I'll look back and I have no idea what we're doing or what we're talking about. And Heather, luckily, is sitting here with me and can kind of put me back on track. But there's a lot of times where we're doing our video and I just blank and I don't even know what we're talking about, or I don't know what the last thing that I said. And Heather is like sort of like my little recorder, I guess. She's saying they're remembering all the things that we're saying. And then she kind of reminds me and throws it back to me. So that way I know where to pick back up. But it's just, what we do is a whole hell of a lot of work. But, it is really, I get a lot out of this. It's really great. Yeah. It's really great.
So
it's rewarding. That's the word I was looking for.
Here is a little ad. This channel is brought to you by patreon.com/Gastlecast. If you subscribe to our top tier Patreon for $10 a month, you can see the Gastlecast behind the scenes, see our full unedited videos, not every single one of them, but you can see that they are totally unscripted, and sometimes we'll tell each other what to say, but for the most part, you might get a lot of awkward silences of us thinking of what we're going to say.
Or her and I getting frustrated with what we're doing, and we get like very frustrated and angry.
There's sometimes F-bombs where I'm like, what the fuck, Chris? What was that? Or what is this? Or can you stop? Or can we do this?
Where we battle each other, and there's a lot of attacking. But we get through it, and it all works out. And it's, it's just a lot of time and effort is thrown in, and I'm glad that everybody comes and watches these videos, and we're getting people leaving feedback. Always leave feedback, good or bad or indifferent.
Don't say
like don't be vulgar or just
mean.
downright just being an ass.
Okay, no.
That's the other thing, I can't. It's hard for me to ask people not to do that because people are going to do what they're going to do. But there are some people out there that just say and I'm not talking about me. Like if you say something about me, that's cool. But just really nasty things about Heather. We had one guy that was being really creepy and talking about wanting nudes and stuff. And it's like,
yeah, I didn't
come on,
like
dude.
that. And he took it to our email, and it got to the point where I was considering
really
to calling the police.
Yeah, dude said some really creepy stuff about my son in an email that it was disgusting. It definitely, the guy is warped in some way, shape, or form to say the things that he said. It's just really interesting stuff that goes on sometimes behind the scenes. I don't know if you'll see that on our Patreon, our weird comments.
Probably not,
because typically if we get a weird comment, we share that on Instagram and on Facebook. But you will see behind the scenes of us being sometimes whacked completely out of our heads and not knowing what's going on and having trouble with each other and getting along, trying to make a video.
Yeah. And keep in mind, sometimes we'll record 2, 3, 4 videos in a day. Just I call them filler videos, just in case no news happens. We have some stuff lined up that we can just throw out. For example, we had some mail calls a week or two ago, and we put together a video of that. And if there is a light news day this week, Chris will probably just throw it up to fill the time, since, if tomorrow doesn't bring Pietro, I mean, what are we going to talk about?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that we do a lot of the time hang on news. I noticed a lot of these channels are always throwing up these numbers $5,000 mystery grill box, which is, that we do that every once in a while, but these people are doing it a lot. And that's something that Heather and I can't really do all the time. We're not going to be dropping all that kind of money on Funko Pops. So it's nice to do unboxings every once in a while, but I've always kind of wanted to center on the news. There was a channel, I'm not going to name who they were, but they talked a lot of shit about us. And we found out later on that they were talking shit about us. And the one person said something along the lines of, oh, well, they just talk out of their ass because they're always talking about conspiracy theory type Funko stuff. And I listened to that and I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting that the person looks at it that way. And I've always what interests me is watching videos of you just watched the newest episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And now it's people sitting around talking about what could possibly happen next. What's the next place the television show is going to go? What's going to happen to these characters? I like a lot of what ifs, which is why a lot of our videos kind of surround what ifs and scenarios and things in the Funko world. I find that to be an interesting thing to talk about. To me, that's an interesting topic, aside from just regular Funko news, and aside from unboxings. I like the conspiracy stuff. And by the way, just real quick, you don't see really anybody else doing it.
Right.
And I consider us being, I've always wanted to be different in the community. I don't want to be Top Pops, and I don't want to be Wasatch Pops, and I don't want to be BPH. I don't want to be those guys.
They
I want
are
to be
amazing people.
No, they are awesome. But I want to be different. I don't want to be them. I want to be my own thing.
Yeah, every single one of them is different, which is why we like them and watch them. And so we don't want to be, that guy in front of a camera just opening a pop and talking about it. We want to share more than that. And I think we do a pretty good job at entertaining. There are some times where I'm off my game and I don't feel as funny as I should be or as into it as I should be. But I mean,
we all have those days, Heather.
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, I feel like we have some pretty good content.
Absolutely. I agree. I think I agree with that. I agree.
But I would like to note since you did just mention the conspiracy theory stuff, most of that is literally just me saying things or Chris just saying things. It's not like we really believe this stuff in our heads. I mean, things could be a possibility, but for the most part, it's for humor's sake. And, what if this is why, or what if that is why? I mean, some stuff we've come up with might be legitimate, but for the most part, it's just silly,
There's
goofy.
Been some legitimacy behind some of the stuff we talked about.
But some of it's silly, goofy, I don't know. I can't come up
well,
with,
at the end of the
too much
day,
of
this
anything.
channel, the main focus of the channel has always been comedy. And I told Heather, I've told you guys several
Well, I
times.
don't know why I'm on here because women aren't funny.
When it becomes not funny anymore, then why the hell am I going to do it? Because I'm a comedy guy. I like comedy. I like comedians and shows that are full of comedy. I love that. I listen to the Howard Stern show on a regular basis constantly. So I like the comedic aspect of everything, and that's why this channel and these episodes that we do always include and are infused with some sort of comedy. I just hate going and watching a channel that they're just, there's just not much going on. It's sort of like, like there's really no personality there. Not talking crap about anybody. I'm just saying, like, I've seen, not even just in the Funko world even, but just some channels that are just like, okay, like there's nothing interesting about it. And I want to make Heather and I interesting even before the Funko News or the Funko Pops. I want you guys to be here to watch us and hear us talk about stuff and be stupid and be funny and yell at each other sometimes and all that. I feel like that is the main reason to watch the show. You're coming here for Heather and Chris, but you're staying for the toy talk. That's kind of where my head's at with it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's
That's
kind of
how
where
I
my
feel.
head's at.
Speaking of which, we got a very interesting comment. I mean, this was like ages ago. But Comic Jax said, have you guys ever thought about doing an origin Gastlecast story episode about where it all started? I think many new and old fans would love to see it. I 100% agree. I think that we could come up with something really cool. We could maybe
I actually, hold on. I actually have a lot of footage of setting up the old Gastlecast room.
Yes.
Like prior. And then all the way through basically moving out of the old house and then moving into this new house. It's funny because when we first started the channel, we did an episode called History of the Gastlecast, and we only had like 5 episodes. And I thought it was funny, but it was the origin of it was talking about my fandoms, and also my parents were in the video, believe it or not. It's one of our very first videos. My mom and dad were in it, and they were just talking about my, growing up with my fandoms and stuff. And I always thought that was kind of funny. So I could even put bits and pieces of that in there. Mm-hmm. It would be a long production effort, but I love the idea, and I will definitely make sure we do it. Thank you for that, Comic Jax. So we'll definitely do that. And yes, Comic Jax, I really like the family vibe. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea through and through, is to be family oriented, and for everybody to walk away happy. The worst thing that I can see, or worst thing I do see, are people who get downright upset that they don't get a Funko Pop. And I'm not saying it's bad, like I think they're stupid. It's bad because it makes me upset for them to feel that way. And if it means that I can help them obtain that Funko Pop in some way, shape, or form, I want to do it. And that's why I started the group, so people have the opportunity to go there and say, hey, listen, I missed out on this thing. Is there any way you can help me? I was at work, or, I was in the hospital, whatever it is. You just give the opportunity, to get help. And I that's my favorite thing. However, the comments where people are burning their collections and everything, that's hilarious, and I love using them for our particular videos where drops do happen.
Yeah, so don't stop, but
don't stop doing that.
Also, don't be violent.
Yeah, don't be violent. Oh my gosh.
Charlie said that we should do an updated Cribs episode for the new house.
Absolutely.
We would really love to do that. We would probably need a third person to man the camera. I'm not sure. We might be able to swing it just Chris and I, but pandemic life. But we also need to get things a bit more together, because right now, like, we have some shelves beside me that are actually like more shelves to go in these big shelving units. And I have, like, my office right now is a disaster. Matter of fact, I can actually pull up a picture. I hope
You're going to show them a picture? Get out of here.
It's a disaster.
But I tried to show a picture and you like blew up.
You didn't try to show a picture. You tried to show it in a video. This is what my office floor looks like right now.
It's
Totes,
unreal.
Pops. I'm pulling like pops out of the boxes. I have like an art project on the floor. Like, I'm trying to make like a wreath for a friend of mine's door. Totally off topic, but I have like the supplies on my floor. Like, it's just a freaking mess. It is so gross in there. So I definitely need that cleaned up before we do a Cribs episode.
In the Cribs video for the last house, I never told you this idea. I don't think I even said. Morgan Mitchell is here, by the way. He filmed all the Cribs episode. There's a really funny thing I wanted to do. I wanted to be walking backwards and showing off the collection. I know this is going to sound really stupid. I wanted to be walking backwards and showing off the collection because I wanted it to be like kind of like the funny version of a Cribs episode. And I actually wanted to fall down and like hit the R2D2, like stumble and fall.
Why
and,
didn't you do that?
And break something or like take something down off the wall. I don't know why I didn't do it. I think it was just because we were trying to condense everything and we were filming a lot and I forgot some things I needed to film. But that's something I want to do on the new video. I'd like to fall down and like get injured somehow.
Or you could just paste your ice fail
Right,
into the video.
Or show myself falling down outside. Truly Insane's asking a question to you. Did you get your new desk?
Yes, I did. I got it like a week after Christmas. I love it. It's perfect. There was a little bit of damage on it and we got a replacement part, but we built it with the damaged part. And now I feel like we're like too far into having the desk built to even use a replacement. So I don't even know what I'm going to do with that thing.
But Morgan, you will be the cameraman again. Because I feel like if we're going to have a cameraman, it has to be the guy who was a pro on the first one. You have to be the pro on the next one. But this time, you're actually going to use an actual big boy camera, and we'll show you how to use it. I actually just ordered a gimbal so we can make everything real clean and smooth. I spent Macari money, but I spent about $300 for a new gimbal. But it'll be good for stuff like this and cons and stuff. So it's something I really need it. Have you caught up on all of the Walking Dead? Yes, we watched all of Walking Dead. The Negan episode was great. Hoping they do a Negan series because that's what we need in our life.
If you are a Walking Dead fan or were a Walking Dead fan, this is for the once Walking Dead fans. If you were a Walking Dead fan who dropped off because it got too slow or you didn't like Negan or whatever, I recommend sucking it up, going back and watching.
Here's Negan.
No.
Oh.
Watching everything because for a while, I mean, there are episodes as like a diehard Walking Dead fan that I got sort of bored of. I won't lie to you. I'm not going to say like this is the best show ever when there's some episodes that are a little bit slow, but it all leads up to just amazing things. But that Here's Negan episode is just, it's incredible. It shows you who Negan is. And it solidifies my theory from the moment we met Negan that if we saw The Walking Dead through Negan's eyes instead of Rick would be the villain and Negan would be the good guy and the guy that who we are rooting for. So it's, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, why do you like Negan? Why do you like the bad guy? Because he is a guy too, and there's a reason why he has had to turn into a bad guy.
Yeah.
Rick and his crew have killed people. Why
Rick
is Negan
actually
so bad?
bit somebody's throat out.
Yeah. When did Negan bite somebody's throat out?
Rick went hardcore, but that was bad. That was badass, by the way. Okay, so we've talked a lot. Button999 says, The Walking Dead lost me forever ago. Totally understand. It did get a little murky for a while, but I will promise you that it has gotten a lot better. There was somebody up here. Alex Lopez says he remembers the video of the sketch of Toucan Sam, the 404 error. Yes.
We actually put a hole in our wall in that episode. I don't think we've ever talked about this, but that hole did not get repaired until we went to sell our house. I repaired it as we were selling our house.
I had my buddy, I think, flip a chair, and it actually ended up denting the wall, and it knocked out a bunch of drywall. But it was hilarious, and it was perfect and fitting for what we were doing. But we didn't fix it until the very end, until we were about to leave. But anyway, okay. Oh, thank you, Mark B. That's really sweet of you. You rock also. Okay, so a new video coming here in about 7 minutes. This is perfect timing. I want to end this, and then that way I can get the video ready for you guys, and you can go and watch it because you're going to get a full, if you've been here from the very beginning of the interview series with Arnold from the Office Funko Pops tonight, you've been here for almost 2 hours, and now you're about to get about 15 minutes more of the Gastlecast. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Please watch, and please leave us some feedback and some comments. We love all of that. That's really that's what we love. That's what we love to see. I love responding to all the comments, and I believe even as we grow, I'll never stop doing that. That's something I always want to continue to do. Commenting back, because I think that
normally
matters.
I comment, like, if I have some free time, I'll comment on some like I'll be the one to comment. It's very, very rare that you get a comment back from me on YouTube, but I comment to most of the mean ones.
Yes, you do. And I'd rather you do it, because I can't be mean like you. Believe it or not, I can't be mean.
I'm not
like you.
mean. I try to put some humor into most of it, but like, don't talk shit and expect to not get shit talked back. Like, Chris is so nice to everybody, and like, even the people that are mean. And I'd rather you just know that you can't talk like that to people. Like, if you don't like something, just don't fucking watch it. Just keep scrolling, watch something that you like. I don't care, but there's no reason for you to be mean to somebody because they're doing something that, like, the people who are talking shit would probably never do.
Right.
You know? So, first of all, I just want to tell anybody who comments negative things on any YouTube channel ever, I'd like to see you do it better, because they probably can't, and that's why they're commenting so negatively about people. Second of all, like, just be a good person, and there's no reason to be mean to somebody ever. I mean, unless they're really mean to you.
Well, no, what do you say? What do they say? Don't fight fire with fire, Or,
I'd rather fight fire with
I know. We noticed
bombs.
From all of your awesome comments.
So,
but anyway, that's Heather's weekly telling you to be nice to people. So yes, with that said, be nice to everybody this week. Have a very good week this week. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us, and thank you for being so supportive of this channel. Again, if you want to be even more supportive, head over to patreon.com/Gastlecast. Find out the ways that you can support this channel and be a part of that live Google Meet call next month, where we give things away. I don't really know what I'm giving away just yet, but last night we gave away the white flocked Bigfoot, and that thing is awesome, and we're shipping it out tomorrow, and I'm so happy to get that in the hands of the folks out there. The 3 gifts that we gave away, get them in the hands of the folks out there who won. So congratulations to those winners. Guys, thank you so much. Remember, as always, we are together, yes. We'll catch you next time.
bye.